What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from the Fifth Frame Brewing Company, and they're out of Rochester, New York. And this is their Draped In Jam, the peanut butter stuffed French toast variant. So they're calling this one a French toast stuffed Imperial Brown Ale with peanut butter. It comes in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed, time of review. And this can is just under 6 weeks old. Now you might be asking yourself, why does it look like the beer is already open? And that's because it is. So prior to this review, I noticed the can itself was super tight. Like, I thought it was gonna explode. So instead of opening it on camera and have it ruin everything, I thought I would open it over my sink, and I did, and I'm glad I did because I probably lost about a third of the beer. It definitely gushed out, and it would have made an incredible mess of the table. And I know that makes for better reviews and entertainment value, but for me, I don't really want to clean everything up, so it was easier to do it over the sink. Anyway, I lost quite a bit. It gushed out, so I was just like, we'll let it go, and then I'll wipe down the can and bring it down for reviewing purposes, which I'm doing right now. So I think I've had one other beer from Fifth Frame do the same thing. You know, they add a lot of ingredients post-fermentation. Sometimes the yeast can reactivate and go crazy and the whole nine. So anyway, yeah, so what I was going to say in the review, if I had more time, because I don't want to make this like a 20-minute review, is that it's been a while since I've reviewed something from Fifth Frame. It's been almost 6 months. I don't review a lot of their darker beers, and I've had a couple of these, well, a couple of beers within this series, Draped In Jam, and they have been pretty good, but I have never reviewed one, so I want this one. It's peanut butter and French toast flavors, which would, I'd imagine, be a maple, probably cinnamon, maybe nutmeg, vanilla, something like that. So anyway, we're hoping that this is okay and it's not off and there's nothing wrong with it. We will see. I'm going to pour it to the hashtag proper glassware. Give it a slow pour just in case, like, you know, it's crazy carbonated. We will see. Here we go. Of course, it doesn't look like it's crazy carbonated, So I think this glass is like 10 ounces. So it looks like I probably lost like 6 or 7. So maybe more than half the can. This might be a 12-ounce glass, honestly. Regardless, it looks like I probably lost 5 or 6 ounces at the very least, which is a bummer, but it happens. What are you going to do? I've had it happen before. It's going to happen again. It is what it is. So yeah, it's an Imperial Brown Ale. This looks like an Imperial Porter or stout of some sort. Very dark. Hold it up to the light. Nothing getting through it. It's basically pitch black in the glass, or really dark brown, but there's no light getting through it. Had about a finger, which is now about a half finger or a thin film of this straight up light brown colored head. Looked super creamy. There's still some decent carbonation. I can see bubbles on the sides rising up, so I think we should be good, but you never know. And can you hear it? There's a little bit of carbonation you can hear. Anyway, let's get a nose. Wow, it smells awesome. So I reviewed recently a couple different, I think a couple different peanut butter beers, right? Southern Tier's Peanut Butter Cup Imperial Stout. And then I also reviewed Thomas Hooker's Peanut Butter Cup, I think, Imperial Stout as well, or something like that. This smells better than both of those with the peanut butter. This smells like creamy, just absolutely amazing peanut butter. Like, it has the nose of you want from peanut butter. But then I'm getting a ton of maple. I'm getting definitely cinnamon and maybe a touch of vanilla. And then the base brown ale, I'm getting a touch of nuttiness with some chocolate. So it's almost turning into like, I don't know if this would exist, and this would probably be like a favorite candy if they made it. Some kind of combination of dark chocolate with peanut, like creamy peanut butter, and like a maple cream, or like a maple cream with like maybe a peanut butter covered, dark chocolate peanut butter covered maple cream, something like that. That's what I'm getting here. It smells amazing. I like that nuttiness I'm getting from the base brown ale. And the dark chocolate, while it's like sweeter, it's not like a Hershey Special Dark. It's more like a 30 or 40% like a Cow Bar. Yeah, I mean, peanut butter stuffed French toast. Yeah, I mean, I could see having a piece of French toast in front of me that is stuffed with peanut butter, and just have maple syrup on top of it and some cinnamon, and just going ham on that thing. And this is kind of what it smells like. It doesn't really maybe have like the malt character, like, you know, the actual bread component, but everything else is here. It smells like it's going to be sweet. I hope it's not crazy sweet. This is basically a pastry Imperial Brown Ale. So when it comes to these beers, it's why I buy single can. And sometimes I like to share these because 16 ounces is sometimes too much. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. That is awesome. It's such a weird but very welcoming and just straight up delicious combination. It's definitely sweet though. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it, but it's definitely sweet. But holy fuck, the flavors are amazing. All right, I gotta go for another sip. Body on this isn't as thick and viscous as I thought. This is like higher side of medium, lower side of full. It's only 8.5, but a lot of these pastry beers, you know, they can have all the goodies in them, and sometimes they become really thick and viscous and almost like syrupy and oily. This doesn't have that kind of issue, which is good. It's 8.5%. I don't know if I want to chew this beer. The mouthfeel is definitely undercarbed. There's like a mild carbonation here, but it makes for a nice, smooth and soft and somewhat creamy mouthfeel. So I think the lack of carbonation helps this one. I think too much carbonation would be a detriment to some extent for a style like this, at least for me. So I'm happy with the mouthfeel, although the body's a bit thin, but maybe appropriate. The taste, it's not a super overly complex, like have to run through 30 tasting notes type of beer. From the palate, creamy, rich peanut butter. Right after that, I get a little bit of like this nutty kind of toasted malt quality. And then the dark chocolate hits. It's like a 40 or 50% cacao bar. And that rolls into like midway through the palate to the back of the palate, a finish of French toast flavors. It's maple syrup, it's cinnamon, it's a hint of vanilla. This is sweet. This is going to, I would say this, if someone picks up this can, share it with someone unless you have a real big sweet tooth when it comes to these pastry beers. If you can take out some of the sweetest pastry beers you've ever had and you want another can, like you could easily take this down. If you're somebody like me who used to like that, but now would rather have this as a sharing beer with at least one person, if not two, me personally, I would want like 5 or 6 ounces of this. This is a perfect flight beer. You go to Fifth Frame and you get a 5-ounce pour of this or whatever, perfect. Do I want it in a 16-ounce vessel? Probably not, but I can't knock that the flavors are amazing. I don't think I'd want anything else. Maybe a little bit more of like a bready, doughy kind of sensation, but I think I prefer that toasted, nutty malt character at the front. So this finish is sweet. This is straight on. This is again cloying to my palate. There's no real bitterness. There's no real dryness. Maybe a slight dryness, but like not much. 8.5%, I really can't tell. Hides the alcohol extremely well. I mean, as far as what they're calling this beer and what it is, like this is a 5 out of 5. Like for what they're saying on the side of the can, it says French toast stuffed Imperial Brown with peanut butter. Yeah. But I always rate on how I enjoy the beer to my own palate, not stylistically. But I think if you pick this beer up, I think the only thing you might be disappointed about is the sweetness. Maybe you're somebody who loves these flavors but was hoping it reigns in the sweetness. For me, it does not. So, but it's a 5 out of 5 flavor-wise. They nailed it. But for me, I got to take everything into account. So you're talking, you know, a little bit of thinness on the body, maybe the fact that it is cloying to my palate, and the fact that I'm not getting like a French toast feel. I'm getting everything goes on top of a French toast or even inside it, but not the toast itself. So I'm going to have to knock it quite a bit. I think I have to knock this quite a bit just because of the sweetness. It makes it, I don't say undrinkable, but this can to me is undrinkable. This entire can is undrinkable. I don't even want to say this because it sounds bad, but I'm almost kind of happy that it exploded in 6 ounces of gone, because I don't feel bad then perhaps drain pouring it or not drinking it all. I'm probably going to drink the rest of this. I think this is a great amount. Probably by the last ounce or two, I'll be like, eh. But this is a sharing beer for me. I wish I could share it with at least one other person, if not two. It's a flight beer, but I can't knock the fact that it's a damn tasty one at that. So Draped in Jam, peanut butter stuffed French toast variant from Fifth Frame. I'm going to give this a high 4.25 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.3 out of 5. Like I said, this is a 5 out of 5 for like kind of nailing what they're going for, but it's a personal preference thing with the sweetness and everything. So that's where this beer lands for me. Price point availability. I paid $7.99 for that can. I believe at the brewery they're like $25 a 4-pack, somewhere in that realm. If you buy them as a single here in the area, whether it's Buffalo, Rochester, every place, you know, has to jack it up $1 or $2 per can because, you know, I mean, everybody has to make money. I'm happy. I'm one of those people that's like, I'd rather pay $8 for a single can than have to buy an entire 4-pack at $25. When it comes to these heavily fruited sours and pastry beers, I just want to buy a single can or bottle now. I don't want to buy an entire 4-pack because more often than not, they're too sweet or they're too rich and it's just too much. So I'd rather spend $8, have a single can than need to buy a 4-pack. So I'm fine with it, but to each their own. Some people might think that's a little expensive. Fifth Frame, pretty much throughout Western New York. There's some spots here in Buffalo you can find their stuff. A lot of spots in Rochester and in like the Finger Lakes region. But to me, they do great stuff. I mean, they're kind of known for stuff like this. They go outside the box. They do crazy shit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But their IPAs are really good as well. Their lagers are fantastic. So they just do really good stuff overall. So if you've had this one before, anything within their series, let me know. I think the two I had within their series were both peanut butter and jam. One was like a Concord grape, and then another one, maybe it was a Concord grape and then something else. I had one on cask at a beer fest, and it was awesome. But I need to pick up more within the series and just more from Fifth Frame in general. They do great stuff. Despite the fact that this beer exploded on me and it's a bit too sweet, I still like trying their beers because they're fun. So again, if you've had this thing or anything in the series or anything from Fifth Frame in general, let me know. Like I said, 8.5%. It drinks extremely well for the ABV. Just wish it was a little bit sweeter. Yeah. Whoa. Am I getting hammered from this beer? A little bit less sweet. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Anyway, to the next one. Cheers. Check back next Wednesday for another West York Wednesday, or maybe we'll start diving into the Whodunit beer reviews. I keep on saying that, and I need to at some point. But I have other beers I'm getting through and so many local releases that I feel like I'm going to probably start doing Whodunit beers not on Wednesdays and maybe on another day just so I can review some of them. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.